these days, right? You will have some schools when they come on Sunday, we will teach them both the art and UK curricula. We include them to bring a wholesome educational experience for your child. Schools now raking up school fees 1.2 million, 1.5, as much as 43 million naira in Lagos for a particular school. Don't believe me? Go and check. Not for making this up. 43 million naira. And this is apart from, the tidbits you give the child, the money you spend to drive your child to and from school, and all the other medical expenses. Anyway, you get the drift. Please pay very close attention to this. Now, a lady made a post, which interestingly I was thinking about a while ago, and I want to share it with you. Once again, my question is, how can we localize our curricula? Because there is such a thing as local knowledge, indigenous knowledge. Nobody's saying you shouldn't learn everything or as much as you possibly can, but to ignore the knowledge that the mechanic has, or to ignore the knowledge that the market woman has, or to ignore the knowledge that the man who has been making herbs for 20 or 40 years without going or seeing the four walls of a school might be detrimental to us. But the biggest issue I want to raise here is this, right? That we have quietly, very quietly, right, accepted that our style of education has to not just mirror but mimic, and in some case totally embody what is good for the US, the UK, and maybe the EU. Some would even argue, like this voice note I'm going to share with you, that we are actually being neo-colonized. Again, listen.
Colonizing our nation. And this may not be for you, so you can move on. My daughter went to a British school, but I was integral to ensuring that she remains rooted as a black person. I'm not opposed to British schools. We must not be slaves to the British curriculum. Yes, we talk about international standards, but what we are doing at the moment, besides the economic divide and the brain drain, training our children for other countries, language erosion, identity crisis is an issue. We're telling our children and making them believe that the British are superior to them. We're making it seem as if it is all over again. We must ensure into Nigeria, by nature of their geographical location, or any African country as a matter of fact, there must be history, undiluted history, taught to our children. Otherwise, we will continue to have recolonization in the classroom. We need to stop. All you are doing is raising Africans without grounding, but with accents. You need Africans that are proudly rooted. Let's be careful, because I can see the increase. I can see people saying, God, when? Oh, my own child, Nepo baby, this and that. Very, very subtly, our minds have been programmed to believe that we are not enough to create our own curriculum as Africans, to be able to even root our children in African history. Not that you don't hear the Chinese, Japanese, and people like that saying that they want to blend into the British way of life. They stick to their own, and look at what China has done. Follow this page. There's many, many things that I would love to share with you so that you can understand it.
All right, so you got it. I hope you did. Let's have a robust conversation, shall we? All right, 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003, 08179230002, 08179230003. We're going on a break very shortly, but I'll read some of your comments on this matter. In fact, one has just dropped. I'm going to read that one very shortly. Send us your messages to 0809-030-6416.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
For a certain school, go. Jude, I believe that the only way for us to localize our curricula is to actually bring the old people, those with the old knowledge, to come and teach what our grandfathers knew, not necessarily repeating what our teachers taught us when we were in primary school, but people who know the roots of those communities. Individual and localized knowledge should be taught in our schools. Individual and localized knowledge should be taught in our schools. All right, so we'll take a breather. When we come back, because I said we are going on a quick break, We'll open the phone lines. Keep those comments coming through. And finally, somebody says, Sunrise Salutation says, yes, we eat too much. And I'll tell you why, because the conversation coming up later on.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this. I can't wait.
at the beginning of the year. In fact, at one point in the middle of the year when we had the results from WAEC, the results from JAM, see percentage that passed, percentage that failed, not good, this is bad. The conversation has always been, maybe the curriculum needs to change. Yes, we have brighter teachers. We have teachers who are now using technology. Everybody's talking about edtech. We have a program here on Mondays showing that talks about how technology can help to, as it were, bridge the gap in educational development, which is great. But what exactly are we teaching? Now, the voice that I played earlier said, "Look, it's not likely. This is what is happening. It's a subtle." Colonization of the mindset of people to think that the British system, the British curriculum, the American curriculum is much better than whatever Nigeria has. Now, to put this into context, now I got to see videos of how children are being taught in China, how they are being taught in Japan, and compare that to how they are being taught in the EU, in the UK, and then in America. Now, obviously, within the America and the UK, there are similarities also with the EU, with slight variances. Every teacher, every system has a unique style. The same thing with the Chinese and Japanese, but there's a lot of emphasis on practicality with the Japanese children. For example, at the very of probably about 8 or 9, have classes where they're tree. I'm not saying they don't. I'm talking about it's on that scale in reference the ways the study they have this technology into them. And who once joked that the tractors are being sold, or they were being sold in Nigeria, where the projects, secondary school and early university, give somebody to go and mold the case and go and sell. Sometimes when you go, you watch the videos of the products you use in the studio, education, not to speak English. Nothing is wrong with speaking English. It's a lingua franca as it would seem at this moment. But it's not the case. You can also have an argument, right, about those who have multiple languages in their culture. For example, the Nordic countries, that would be, and the Scandinavian countries, that would be Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, right? All of these countries, they can speak English. But how are they taught? What emphasis on British than Nordic? I don't know. Like some have stipulated that right now we are teaching our children not just to sound British or sound American or be American. We are actually teaching them to become American citizens. That's why people will go to school here in Nigeria, here in this country, in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, at years to go abroad. When they go abroad, it's very difficult for them to come back. Or when they come back, imagine your parents spending close to $100,000 right, for you to become a medical doctor, trained abroad, or whatever it is. And then you come back home as a Nigerian, you're patriotic, right? And then, the federal government says your salary is now 350,000 naira a month. 350,000 naira a month equates to what, $200, $300 in a month. What can I get you? Yes, you can make a comparison. Yes, the cost of living here, the prices are totally different. Materials are a bit cheaper. Labor is cheaper. Yeah. But even with that 350,000 naira or 450,000 naira, you still can't do the things that your colleagues would be able to do if they are in the US or in Canada. So guess what? Brain drain. So we're quietly teaching our children not to be Nigerians, but to be Americans, to be Canadians, to be British, to be German, to be French, instead of Nigerian. And some would say, well, it's the curriculum. So once again, how do we localize our curriculum for ourselves? What do we need to do?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
017-923-0002, 0817923-0003, 0817923 Facebook.